Good afternoon, everyone. So glad that you guys stayed and decided to stay awake for the marketing portion. We've got a great panelist here to talk to you and give you a lot of insight into the world of marketing. My name is Yana Ogletree, and I'm the Public Affairs Director for Georgia Pacific and Texas. And before that, though, I did a lot of marketing. I don't tend to do that now in my job, but I have a marketing background with TXU Communications, both hospitals, and then where I came from was KTRE TV, and that was many, many moons ago. But I like to think about this. I get to ask questions, so I'm back in my wheelhouse as a reporter. So I hope y'all are ready, because I'm going to ask the tough questions, right? Just coming off of the last session, and when you talk about the business plan, every business plan should have what? It should have a marketing plan, right? It's not a complete business plan if there's no marketing component to it. You know, Henry Ford once said that a man who stops advertising because of the money is the same as a man who stops his watch to stop time. Right? Doesn't make sense. And I know some entrepreneurs, small business entrepreneurs, who have shared with me stories about, the limited budget, obviously starting out with the new business, and then you see this marketing dollar. And in this case, in this one that I'm talking about, this gentleman had earmarked $25,000 for marketing. And he went to the bank and borrowed it, and he said it was the hardest thing he had ever done, is to think putting $25,000 into advertising. And what is that going to get me? And today, I would say 5 years later, he said it was the best decision he's ever made. And he does a ton of marketing in our area. So marketing is critical to the success of any business, right? And I know you ladies agree. But before we get started, I want to introduce our panelists. You might recognize them. You might be customers, right? So the first one is Jackie Zimmerman. Jackie has a bachelor's degree from Stephen F. Austin State University and recently earned a professional in digital marketing certification from the Digital Marketing Institute. She's the owner of Zimmerman Communications. She has worked more than 25 years 25 years plus of marketing experience, and she working and studying the demographics of East Texas. Combining her knowledge and understanding of digital media and the demographics of East Texas, she develops, implements, and manages advertising and marketing needs based on the budget, which includes social media, display online ads, and traditional advertising, and plus sets up and manages the online profiles for businesses. She cares for the community and is deeply involved with the community, having served on several boards over the years. She currently is a founding member of the Lufkin Creative Board and chair of the Marketing Committee. She's also on the board of directors for the Angelina County Humane Society and the United Way of Angelina County, and she also serves as their publicity chair and has done that for like 20 years or so. Crystal's on the far end, and she's with Lemon Seed Marketing. I'm sure you've seen a lot of advertising out there. She gets out there. She has over 20 years of marketing and employee engagement experience under her belt. Crystal has an out-of-the-box way of thinking that draws attention to her marketing strategies and community involvement. Her always enthusiastic attitude makes it easy to get excited and rejuvenated to grow service companies to their fullest potential. With a passion for the service industry. We have any service industries out there? Okay, y'all listen up. Crystal grew up in the heating and air conditioning world with her family's East Texas heating and air and plumbing business. She thrives on helping family-owned and operated businesses grow to their potential and create superior company cultures and engaged employees. She's a graduate of Stephen F. Austin State University with a communications degree. She has a wide range of awards, and she serves on numerous boards. But she continues to work heavily with McWilliams and Son, heating and air conditioning and plumbing, and her home service specific advertising and marketing company, which is Lemon Seed Marketing. And you may have even heard the Lemon Seed podcast, which is called The Yellow Chair. I had no doubt. All right, please welcome Crystal. And then, yeah, go ahead, clap for her. We like that. I was like, I gotta find my next bio. Katelen, hi Katelen, she's in the middle. She began her marketing journey as a brand manager for the Money Couple, her business partner's brand, and within 2 years, she advanced to become a part owner of Taylor's marketing agency, which is Hive Marketing. Today, she co-owns Hive Marketing with Taylor Kovar, and she writes, in today's noisy world of marketing, it's easy to get lost in the crowd, but at Hive Marketing, they believe in standing out by being authentically you. Born and bred in Lufkin, Texas, she understands that local businesses just don't need another marketing agency. They need a dedicated partner. So please welcome our three panelists today. All right, are we ready? We're going to start out today, and I want to try to hold some time at the end for Q&A because I know I think there will be a lot of questions. Jackie, let me start with you. What is the difference between advertising and marketing, or is there a difference?
Am I good? Okay. This chair is really short where I am.
And you are short.
Thank you. There is a difference between marketing and advertising. Advertising is really specific to getting your ads out there, whether it's on social media, it's on online display, it's in the newspaper, it's on TV, it's an ad. It's an ad about what you do and sales and things like that. But when you get into marketing, you want to market your business, it's more about relationships. It's about you building your brand, about building your company within your community and making relationships, offering yourself to boards and offering your services and building yourself as someone in the community people can trust. And then you also take, instead of ads, you offer tips, you offer assistance, you offer information in your ads rather than just promoting the sale of the week. You really want to be recognized as the expert in your industry. And to do that, you need to offer tips and help and for free. You don't give away the farm, but you get out there and you help people and you build that relationship. And that's kind of what Mr. Harris said on the last panel. He's built that over time, and now people come to him knowing he's going to be somewhere. That's a marketing strategy.
So is it fair to say that it is, there is a difference in when you think about marketing, product marketing versus image marketing? Does someone want to address that? I know this is the one I just threw in there because she made me think of that. So explain the difference between by image marketing and then product marketing, because you need to do both, right?
Yes, absolutely. Image is just that. You are putting things out there that you're not asking people to come buy from you. It is all about your image. It's all about your brand. You want to help people learn things to make yourself that expert. And it's all about what you promote of yourself in the community. Considering in the ads, if Mr. Harris would have an ad that talks about where he's going to be and his costs for his sandwiches, that's an ad. But if he gets out there and he talks about different kinds of meats and what he sells and how to choose the right meat for your burger, then he's building an image and he's building a brand.
Okay, thank you, Jackie. Crystal, so how important is it for a company to have a memorable brand?
Well, so basically to reiterate what Jackie said, a brand is how you make people feel, right? So when your brand, a lot of you immediately probably thought, oh, my logo, right? What my logo looks like. Or again, I come from the home services. So heating and air conditioning, plumbing's electrician, pool companies, things like that. That's who I work with the majority of. Van wraps, like what your truck looks like, what your vehicle wraps look like. So that's a big part of it. But the branding piece of who you are is how you make your community feel. So that's why she spoke about giving back your time, being the expert. All of that is how people are going to feel, so that when they do need your service, they immediately made a connection with who you were as a company. And it's more than just like, oh, well, I have a website. My website is live. That's fantastic. I don't know about y'all, but at night, I don't scroll websites for fun. Like, just go look at websites. A lot of times something took me to a website. And hopefully my brand has done such a good job that when you had the problem that I can fix, you thought of me first. And so it was just all about how you make your community feel, combined with how you look and how people engage with your brand is super important. And normally I can look at someone's brand and it'll their actual logo, and it will tell me how successful they are as a company as far as revenue, just because I've done it long enough now. Most of us could probably do that. It's just really getting into the mindset that you understand how people engage with you in your community is how they are going to treat you when they need you.
Okay, thank you. So it's connecting with that audience, and it's more about just this is what we sell, this is what we make. It's the value behind the brand. What else are you doing in the community? How are you building that brand? Do you have a good reputation? So that all plays into the value of that brand. And in this ever-changing society, the most powerful and enduring brands actually come from the heart. Would you agree? Yeah. All right, let's move on to Kristen. What strategies do you recommend for small businesses with limited budgets to maximize their marketing efforts?
I think with Hive especially, I am actually from a very small town. Some of you may know Center, Texas. That is where I was born and raised. And so we have really been working into moving into more of the rural community to help those small businesses learn how to thrive and set themselves apart and things like that. And so one thing that I love to tell people is like take advantage of all of the free marketing channels that are out there. If you have a limited budget, which you more than likely do if you're just starting out, or if you're a smaller business, or like she said, like the big marketing budget can really scare people, and you think, oh, well, that's just throwing dollars down the drain. It's not. It is really, really an investment into the success and well-being of your business. And so take advantage of everything that is free. Facebook is free. Instagram is free. TikTok is free. You may feel ridiculous on TikTok or Instagram Reels or whatever, but I promise you some of those things can really work and benefit, depending on your demographic, of course. But I just like to tell people, take advantage of those free things, and then even some of the smaller things that are still affordable. So if you want to send out an email newsletter to your clients, you can get an email, like a platform with a subscription for maybe $20 a month, and you're keeping those client touch points. You're keeping them in the know of what you've got going on in your business. You're staying active on your social media profiles. Things like that can really set you apart. Like, I was going to say this in a different area, but it kind of pertains to this as well. Being from a small town, there are businesses that I still don't even know about in my own town. And Center has a population of less than 6,000 people. So it's kind of crazy when I'm like, they're like, have you tried this new restaurant? I'm like, I've never even heard of that before. Where is it at? But then you go look on you try to find them on social media, and they haven't posted since 2020 when they shut down for COVID. And they don't have a website. And then they're wondering why things are slowing down, or people, are not coming and learning about them. But I would just take advantage of every kind of free advertisement that there is out there, and then slowly work your way into some of those smaller budget items.
Yeah, that's good advice. And also, it's not a one and done kind of thing, right? You just don't go and put it out there and leave it and then hope that you're going to get some traction. It's something that you constantly have to keep up with and monitor and be in the conversation as well. So when we think about media, we think about your digital media. We also think about traditional media. And I'd like to ask each of you, and this is not on your list, so I told you I'd throw you a ringer, but I don't think you can handle it. What is the difference between traditional media and digital media? And is there a place for both of them in the market? Who wants to go? Jackie?
Well, there is a huge difference. Traditional media is just that. Traditional media is newsprint, is the newspaper, is radio, over-the-air radio, not really your streaming, and TV. But again, not streaming TV. It's the localized. It would be KTRE and the stations out of Tyler, our local radio stations, the Lufkin Daily News and the Nacogdoches Sentinel. Those are traditional media. Digital is that. It's all your social media platforms. It is all the ads you see on your Facebook or on your Facebook pages, but you also see them when you're scrolling the weather page and you're looking at the weather and you see an ad pop up for the car that you happened to be searching, 2 days before. Digital media, because they tracked you down, they can find you. Streaming, and it's not as expensive as you think, but then streaming audio, streaming TV is getting bigger and getting more affordable. It's not, and it reaches a whole lot more people based on, again, demographics. It's very, very granular. That is what's really good about digital marketing compared to traditional. Traditional, the newspaper goes out to the people who subscribe to it and the people who subscribe online. It is digital as well. But it still is very, very structured, where, digital marketing is not. It can get granular, and it depends on what your demographics and what information you put in about your audience is what you'll get out of it.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I'll say the same thing. I try to teach my clients a lot of times. It's kind of like with traditional marketing, you're casting a wide net. Right, so you're going to catch a lot of people. Because a lot of you, if I were to say, who's your ideal customer? Some of y'all will be like, everybody. I want everybody to buy my product. Well, that's great. You can't afford to have messaging to everyone. So when you really pinpoint who you really want to write your messaging towards, the way that you're putting your ads out there, you need digital marketing. I would tell you that 60% of your budget, most of you, probably needs to be towards digital marketing. And then I spend the other 40% of the budgets on traditional marketing, which is more to drive brand awareness, because I just want you to see my logo, see my people, see my reviews, see my good stuff, because it's on the billboards. You're hearing my jingle. Exactly what Jackie mentioned. It's very much like everybody's going to see my brand. But when I start pinpointing my messaging, like you're on cable TV, everybody can see it, from your grandma to your baby cousin, right? But you get digital TV that's a streaming TV, and I can say I only want it to show to homeowners in this zip code that are this age with this college education. I mean, you can really pinpoint it down. And so it really is a huge difference. But I think you need a good mix of both of those things, because if you just drive straight to digital, your digital performance will not perform at max capacity if they don't have a good brand foundation, right? So if you're not telling people who you are through something, billboards, radio, TV, traditional styles, newspaper, print, things like that, then once they see your ad digitally, they're not as likely to click and engage. But when they're like, oh, I know them, I see their vans, I hear their jingle, they're a lot more like, I know these people. They do business with people that they like, know, and love, right? So like, I know these people. So the traditional side helps your digital side perform exponentially better.
You have anything you want to add, Katelen? Or they sum it up?
No, they pretty much summed it up. I was really just thinking, pretty much what Crystal was saying was that it really depends on your demographic, especially. We have some people who are really trying to reach older communities. I have one client in particular that they were really, really big on wanting to get on YouTube. And I was like, do you think that your target demographic is on YouTube? Are they watching YouTube channel, your YouTube channel? But they were selling products for elderly people. And so I was like, no, we need to try a couple of different other things. And we are still on YouTube, because that's what they wanted. That's right. When the client's happy, everybody's happy. Amen. But yeah, so basically the same thing. Yeah, you just pay attention to that demographic and who you are trying to reach, because it really matters in what strategy you need to go forward with.
Thank you. And I think when you think about traditional media, or media in general, what works in one market may not work in another, right? So I know in my job, in small communities, some small communities, newspapers still alive and well, maybe not in Houston, but in small communities, they tend to they could all be different. I know, like over in Jasper, they have a really popular radio station over there that a lot of people get their news from. So you have to know your market. And so when we think about that, Jackie, I want to ask you this question. So how important is it to know your target audience? And how do you define your target audience? I mean, how do you know where they are?
Well, you have to know your product in order to know your audience, and you have to kind of methodically go about determining who's buying your product to start with. I mean, if you sell something traditionally for older individuals, healthcare for wheelchairs, or something that's really traditionally older people, you think, okay, that's what I'm going to do, older people. But take a step back and want to know who's actually buying for that older person. So you have a main market, would be the older people, but you have a secondary market. The secondary market's going to be their kids or their sisters or their brothers, somebody who's buying it for them. Healthcare, you may need to advertise toward men, but women buy healthcare. So you have to know those things about your product. And one of the best ways to do that, if you need to start from scratch, is a very simple but very effective and very low-cost method. It would be a focus group. Bring people into your business that you know, people you don't know. Invite them in for lunch. You can have somebody who could moderate, or you could moderate, and you ask them questions about what they know about your business, what they've heard about your business, if they've heard good things or bad things. You will find out the good and the bad, what people know, what they don't know, what they know about your product, and you can start with that and build your demographics. There is absolutely no way to really do good social media or digital, or technically the traditional, without knowing that target market. And you want to dig down. What's your age? What is the head of household? What is the income? What is the race? What is the gender? Where do they live? And one of the really fun things about digital is you start to follow what they follow. And you can ask people this in a focus group. What do you read? What do you look at? Where do you like to travel? Where do you like to go? And you start granularly finding those people who like your product and where they go. So you don't have to go, oh, I'm advertising wheelchairs, I'm going to be on this healthcare site. No. Then you go to where your target market is instead of waiting on them to come to you. You start advertising on different sites that you know that they like. If they like to travel all over the world, you find the travel sites, you find the airline sites, and things like that. Now, traditional is a little harder to do that with, but then you're still catching them and setting your brand. But again, you know what brand you want to set based on having the questions to these answers in your focus group. And all it would take pretty much is an hour of their time and you to buy lunch.
Yeah, focus groups can be pretty effective. I can speak back to when I worked for the health system here. We did some focus groups for the Livingston Hospital because it was not where it needed to be at that time. And one thing, it's amazing what you'll learn in a focus group and how, if you get the right mix of people, you just can't go get all your friends and say, come do a focus group. You need to get a diverse group of people who, and feel comfortable expressing their opinions. And this one person in this focus group, we said, do you use this hospital? And the response was, yeah, if I don't have any gas in my car to get to Huntsville. And it's like, whoa, that was an eye opener, So you learn all kinds of things, and even you could take that as far as with your employees. You could ask, do focus groups with your employees. I do a lot of that now with Georgia Pacific, and you can learn so much from them because they're in the communities. If you have a business that operates beyond where you live, you may not know that community very well, but get a group of employees and pick their brains and find out where they're getting their information from. You can learn a lot, and it's a very inexpensive way to get some information. Now, you can hire, I don't know, do you all do focus groups? Do you do that with you want to talk about that then, Crystal?
Yeah, so normally what I try to tell people utilizing a focus group is most of you are going to buy and place ads that appeal to you. But for a lot of you, you're not even your own target demographic, right? So I have to tell my heating and air conditioning contractors, my plumbers all the time that are middle-aged men, I'm like, yeah, so you don't make decisions, the wife does, the female in the house does. So we're not gonna be on sports radio because she ain't listening. She's over here listening to a different radio station. So I spend a lot of time correcting that, and it's natural for us to do that. So the best way for, again, to reiterate their points, to open your eyes is if you were to bring in a focus group of different ages, different male, female, older, younger, homeowners, different education levels, and you ask them the same questions, you will realize like, oh, really, I need to gear all of my advertising towards the decision maker for your product, whatever that product is. And so a lot of times it will open your eyes like, I don't listen to that station. And I'm like, well, the good news is you're not buying the product that you sell, right? That's the good news. Or social media is the same thing, like your ad copy that you're using on paid ads. Sometimes you're like, this is so wordy. And I'm like, well, let's test it and see what works before you just make a gut decision. If you utilize focus groups to say, what do you think of this ad copy, like the way this ad is written, versus this one without ad copy and just a graphic, which one appeals more, right? You just start really opening a can of good worms that help you figure out where you should spend those dollars. And so we just would literally, for one of my contractors in Minnesota, the first thing I did was reach out to the local Chamber of Commerce, because I don't live there, right? I live in Texas, a lot different of a market. And so the Chamber helped me pull together about 15 people that we, of all different ages and everything. And then we just sent them like a little questionnaire. They filled it out. We sent them a $50 gift card. They were happy, and we had fantastic data to then start making some decisions for our client there. So pretty easy to do, utilizing their local resources.
So, Katelen, we'll switch to you, and we're going to talk about some success stories with your digital presence. Tell me about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of my favorite success stories, just because I got to watch this small town person. It was just an individual. So her name is Amber. She is actually a personal trainer in Center. Being from Center, it is actually really inundated with personal trainers, which is kind of strange because it's such a small town. But there, if you've ever been to Center, you'll know on the square there are 2 gyms within about 50 feet of each other. So I've always been just watching both of them go back and forth on social media. It's kind of funny. They'll just diss each other one right after another on social media. And I'm like, that looks really good for both of your brands. Keep doing that. But Amber was one of my clients, and she had been a personal trainer. She had worked out for over 10 years on her own, decided to go into the full-time personal training business, and she had her certification for a full year before she actually had stable clients that were not just family. Wasn't just mom wants me to create a meal plan for her and teach her how to work out. And so she reached out to me with Hive, and within the first month of us just having, we did it very simple. She had a very low budget. She was like, I'm not making any money right now, so I've really got to start simple and start small. So I said, you know what? Facebook is pretty much free. Besides your graphics and things like that we create. And so we created a full strategy with her, got her completely consistent on social media, just highlighting what is a personal trainer? Why do I need one? Asking the questions that your normal consumer would ask, because most people will hear that word and think, I can go in the gym, I may not really know what I'm doing, but I don't need to pay somebody to be there with me. But we found out quickly that a lot of people felt the opposite, that they were like, no, I need help. I need someone to lead and guide and teach me what I'm supposed to be doing at an affordable rate. So Amber is a mom of 2, married, and she, at the time, was just a stay-at-home mom and was able to do that because of her husband's income. But she was like, I'm ready to get back out there. Her daughters were growing up, and so she was ready to get back out and start making her own money. And so within the first month that she signed on with Hive, we were able to get her 10 clients at 3 times per week. So that was 30 sessions a week. I wrote this down just so I don't mess it up, but 10 clients, 3 sessions per week at $25 per session. So she was making about $750 a week. So within her first month of just putting herself out there on social media, she was making over $4,000 a month of pretty much additional income because they were surviving on her husband's income alone. So within that first month, it was mind-blowing to me, and I get to do this, but it was also mind-blowing to her, and she was like, oh my gosh, like, what else can we do? She was hooked. And so now She actually, in the last couple of months, just had a gallbladder issue, and she had some surgery, and so she was out for a little bit. So that hurt a little bit. When you're not personal training, you're not getting that money. But now she's back, and she just messaged me, I think at the beginning of this week, and sent me 5 new clients that she had just onboarded in the last 2 weeks since we started bumping back up her social media since she's been back. And now she is at 50 sessions per week, making over $6,000 a month for her family. So she has been the coolest thing for me to get to watch and be like, wow, we got to help you do that. We got to help you create a completely different life for your children. She still has the flexibility of being a mama. She gets to raise her baby. She doesn't have to have anybody else do it. She makes her own schedule. She's making over $65,000 a year. And now she has so many clients. She said, I really can't take any more right now. I'm going to have to put them on a waiting list. So that has been extremely fun to get to have a hand in.
And that's all from Facebook.
That was strictly Facebook. Facebook and Instagram. We have not done anything else because she didn't want to do a whole lot at first. And so once she saw that just posting consistently, if you are any kind of industry like that, progress pictures, people will see that what you do, you actually know what you're talking about and it's working. If you can see that this person has been working out for 3 months and they've lost 30 pounds, you're going to be way more apt to say, okay, I think she knows what she's doing. I'm going to trust her with my body.
Right. Oh, that's a great story. So, Crystal, when you think about a budget then, what should a budget be? How do you determine what your marketing and advertising budget should be?
Sure. So I love this question because it scares everyone. So I deal with mostly, just to set the scene here for who the majority of people that I deal with. So the majority of my clients are probably doing $1 million in revenue. So they're a service company, right? Heating and air conditioning, again, like I mentioned. So a lot of times they're really ready to exponentially grow their company, right? They got a taste of success. They were just really good people that ran a good business that got them to the $500-700 million range after 4 or 5 years in business. And they're really ready to grow their company. So I always say, then whatever your revenue goal is that you're trying to hit next year. So you want to double, you want to go to 1.5, you want to go to 3. I need 10% of that to be able to diversify enough across our different platforms, because honestly, what got you here won't get you there, right? So, and she made a point of this earlier. A lot of times I watch it, and here in Lufkin, so I'm from Diboll. So, I watch things open up here in Lufkin, and it will open and close before I knew anything about it. And I'm like, man, I wish business is really new. I think you need to be able to operate at least a full year with not a lot of income coming in so that you can get known, because people are trying to get to know you. And a lot of businesses have gone out before we can even test them, right? So, and people also do not know that you magically opened a business. So I have to tell myself this: you're not as important as you think you are to every other people. So you're excited and you know what you've invested and you know you have a good product or a good service or a good restaurant or whatever. But when you don't tell anyone, that becomes an issue, because people don't just walk around like, oh, thank God, an insurance agent, right? That's just not what happens. We have to really start putting out content and letting people know. So a lot of times I encourage people, most of my clients right now, I would say you need 10% for us of your goal. So if you want to do $1 million, we're going to need $100,000, and we're going to split it up. And 50% of that's easily going to go to your website, your paid ads, your SEO work, your Google My Business profile, your social media profiles. We're going to get all that up and going. And the other 50-40%, depending on how you split it, is going to go towards you just telling people who you are, which, you know what, it sucks. Okay, it's not fun, because it is really hard to measure ROI, your return on your investment, on branding. So people will tell me all the time, I put a billboard up and nobody called me from it. I'm like, yes, they did. But hardly. Think about the last time you saw a billboard, slammed on the brakes, pulled over, and immediately called the phone number and said, oh, thank God I saw your billboard when I was driving to the grocery store. And I needed you to come fix my toilet. That's not what happens, right? So branding is a lot more like, you should see natural growth of your name being searched, directly searched. That's how you know when your branding's working. So right now, it is cheaper for you to go search, McWilliams Heating and Air Conditioning than it is for you to go AC repair near me. AC repair, we're in a fist fight, right? Every air conditioning company in town is in the boxing ring with our fist up, fighting over those leads. I want you to search my name so that you immediately can contact me. And so a lot of times I encourage 10% of what you're doing, and If that number is smaller, so less than $100,000 in marketing, which a lot of people are there, the majority of people are there, I would tell you don't spread your money too thin. Don't try to do TV and radio and billboards and social media ads and a website. You don't have enough money for that. Pick one or two things and really own those and have enough money to own those tactics and do all the free things that Katelen mentioned earlier. And that's the best path to you'll get more and more leads and more money. And then you're going to look up and be like, I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I bit the bullet and started spending. I remember the day that McWilliams and Son decided we were going to start investing in advertising, and I was like, my dad has lost his whole mind when he did it, and I was like, oh my gosh. But now looking back, I'm like, oh, that's all you spent? So it's a learning curve, and it's scary, and a lot of times you're looking at your own actual bank account down, so we don't take that lightly, but it does take, the greater the risk, the greater the reward, is especially true in good advertising and marketing.
And Crystal, that is such good advice, because so many people tend to just want to throw everything at the wall and see what sticks, and you can't do that, especially if you're on a limited budget. And you're right, it can be very scary. I know when I was doing marketing, I'd go to the hospital CEO or the CEO of the company where I worked and said, I'm going to run this ad in the newspaper for 3 months. One thing, you want to be consistent too. You just don't want to just throw one ad out there and hope that everybody sees it and then you're finished. You've got to have some, you need to run it for more than one time, right? But you throw out a number, it's going to cost $20,000 for this campaign. And they're like, oh my gosh, just for newspaper ads? Are you kidding me? Marketing is expensive. It is expensive, but it's something you got to do if you want to succeed. So Jackie, I'm going to ask you this. We talked about the money, but as a small business owner, do you have the time to, where do you find the time? You're trying to run a business and it's just you and maybe a couple other people, or, you just don't have the time, so it gets put on the back burner. How do you manage that?
That's difficult. As a small business owner, I have time marketing myself, and that's what I do for a living because I market everybody else. It has to become part of your regular routine. It has to become just like when you sit down and you pay bills or you do your budget or you order your items, it has to become part of a regular routine. But the benefit to social media is that you can plan it, and traditional as well, you can plan it and place it and let it go. So there are, with Facebook, with Instagram, with YouTube, with whatever you use, and with the newspaper, sit down, decide yourself one time at the beginning of the month, I'm going to create all of my ads, get all of my stuff together, and then you place it. You can schedule out everything on Facebook, Instagram, you can put it in there. There are some free platforms where you can use it socially, or you use them. So there are platforms where it would bring all of them together. So you kind of just do it one time, schedule it, and it schedules it across YouTube and Facebook and Instagram at once. Or you do it individually. Facebook has its own, because they're linked with Instagram, so you can do that. Plan it all, set it all, and it goes for a month or for 2 months, whatever you want to do. But you have to sit down and take the time and make it regular, because as Yana said, consistency is key. You can't not be out there. And you need to, just because you put the ad in doesn't mean anybody saw it. Doesn't mean anybody saw it on Facebook. I hope you realize free Facebook, organic growth Facebook, you're lucky to reach 1.5 to about 5% of the people who actually follow you when you place that ad. So, I mean, free is good, but then again, you don't know, you may not reach your market either, just like you may not reach your market in the newspaper. So you have to continually be out there posting, a couple of times a day. Don't get carried away with the free Facebook, because that'll make people mad and they'll unfollow you. And there are ways to build that. Did I answer that question?
Yeah.
But finding the time, and probably like with us, there's a way you can have somebody, we can come in and help you do it and then move on and then go on. We can help you strategize, understand what goes on, and then leave you to it, and we go on our way. You don't have to hire a marketing person that's there all the time if you know how to create your ads and stuff. You can have somebody sit down, help you do it, get you started, and then go on our way. But you just have to understand, you have to be out there consistently, and you have to find that time and plan it.
So this is just a general question, and any one of you can take it who feels comfortable answering it. So how do you get started with an agency? What should a small business owner expect as far as how cost is structured, just in general? I'm not asking you to throw out numbers, actual numbers, but they're thinking, well, I don't know if I can afford an ad agency or someone to do this for me. How does that work? I'm a new business owner and I need help.
I know for Hive, like I said, we're a little bit different just because we really try to partner with each business. And so I will tell every single one of my clients when they ask me, some of my family actually will ask me, like, how much will it cost me for a website? Or how much will it cost me for that? And I'm like, well, hold on, there's a little bit more to it than that. But I think that we just try to tailor it specifically to your needs. So if you are coming to me and you, kind of like Amber was, she had no income at the time. She was like Crystal said, you're taking it out of your own bank account to be able to start this thing. I worked with her. I did whatever I could to make sure that, hey, I know that we're going to get this going, and then you'll be more apt to spend those dollars as you're actually making those dollars. But we offer a lot of different packages personally from Hive to help that small business owner. So we can manage your social media platform 3 posts a week. We can do that for you. We can create the graphic, we can write the caption, we can do the strategizing, we can figure out what times we need to post, and you are completely hands off. Or if you are somebody who has a lower budget, you have some of the time to be able to do some of it on your own, we are more than happy. We love giving people templates and ideas and Canva templates. I don't know if you've ever heard of Canva, but it's great for if you are somebody who doesn't have the knowledge of Adobe Illustrator, because it can be really complicated. Canva is very easy and user-friendly for somebody who is needing to create pretty graphics. They have a ton of templates on there. So we will actually take your branding and everything that you are as a brand and kind of what you're wanting to post, and we will create a whole batch of templates for you, and then it's just drag and drop. You drag your pictures in, you change some of the wording on there, and then we tell you, here's some different things you can think of for captions, and here are good times to post. Things like that will pretty much give you a little package that tells you how to be able to do it yourself, but still look good. And so we've created those templates and those packages and things like that. So I want to make sure that I'm answering the question right, but I know on behalf of us, we try to create packages for that first-time business owner that you're not having to spend $10,000 out of the gate. But then we also have packages for if you are ready and you are, like Crystal said, you're going to have to invest that money to be able to make that money and get yourself out there. So we really try to work with each individual and where you are at currently.
Okay, anybody else?
The lemon seed's structured a little different, so same, but a little differently. So social media is an add-on for our services. So we are a strategy company. So remember, we're dealing with a certain type of client for the most part. But I think our biggest thing is we're trying to figure out how much, it's based off how much advertising spend you have. Depends on how much time we're going to need to be meeting for you, negotiating for you, graphic design for you, all of those things. So some of my clients come on and they just want me to help them with one thing, like their website and making sure it's optimized and all of that. Or some people come on and they're like, I don't want to touch anything. I don't care what y'all do. Just do this, and I'll tell y'all if we're getting leads, which those are my favorite. But because those are ones that don't micromanage the average. So y'all know this happens all the time. People will call me and say, well, you're the expert. And then when we put it in front of them, they're like, oh, no, not this. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I don't tell you how to install a toilet. But it's just kind of part of the fun there. But so we're based on creating full marketing strategies for the entire year, divvying up your budget, basing it on how many customers or clients that you need. And so we put a lot of effort into understanding how we're going to drive your leads, and hopefully those leads are high enough leads that you generate the revenue that you need to generate. And so we also have packages. We do have some minimums just because we have realized that lemon seed is we're a little too much for super small companies that really can be doing it in-house. So we've developed some training programs to help smaller businesses know how they can do it themselves and save the money of a full agency being on board. So same thing, same tools. It's a great plan, Canva, the free schedulers and things like that. And so kind of a similar, very similar approach.
So I assume that most agencies offer a free consultation to come in and say, this is what I
Yes.
need.
Yeah, and understand kind of what they said too. No business is the same. So no website is the same, no ads are the same. So we can't just say, yeah, we're going to give you a website for this much money, because it takes time. So yes, while we can come in and do your social media and do these things, it technically is not hands-off on your part. You have to participate because we're not in your business. And that's one of the things with my business is we become your marketing team. We're just not in your business. But we get to know your business, we get to understand, come in, do your photos, plan things, talk to everybody, and begin to understand it, but it's still not there. So you still have to assist a marketing company in what do you want to promote, we need to sit down at least once a month. I have a customer I sit down 15 to 20 minutes weekly. We make sure we're on track, that's all I need from them, and we move forward. But everything is, especially with me, is very personal. Come in, sit down, I want to see the business, I want to see how everything works, I want to know what you want, I want to know what you have to spend, and then we work from there. So yes, we could create, mine is piecemeal. I mean, if you want a website, we do a website. I do a lot of free media, knowing where and when, for press releases, so you get a lot of free media. And that's also, help you with a blog. One of my specialties is writing. So writing your website, writing your blogs, writing all, if you wanted to do that email piece, or helping you learn how to do it and then handing it over. So yeah, but I just want to be sure you understand, just because you ask us and we are the experts on doing a website, you have to be involved. It takes a lot. It takes time to build a website. Once you got to get an outline, you got to get all these pieces together, and you have to approve it, because once you get that website started, it's going to cost you that much if you decide you don't like it. Once we've approved it and it goes out there, then to start again is a whole new cost. So make sure, either way, whether you're doing it on your own or whether you're having somebody help you, you have to get started and be involved.
Well, and you have to have a website, right? You got to have a website if you're in business. And Jackie touched on something that is really old school, so I'm reaching back. Yeah, we're on the same page. Is earned media. And if you got a good story to tell, not an ad, but say something, but somebody does something really cool at your company, or you've come up with some type of a new product that's going to change the way we do life around here, you write up a news release, or get one of these ladies or someone else in the advertising business to write you a news release. I come out and take a picture, send it in. That's free. That's free media. And so a lot of times people overlook that, and I always, personally, I look for ways all the time. I guess that's the journalist coming out of me. I'm always looking for a story somewhere where I work. A good one, though. So I send that out. Okay, let's take some questions from the floor. Does anybody want to ask our panelists anything? Okay, do we have a mic anywhere? Oh, hang on, here it comes. It's right over here. Well, there's 2, 3.
Thank you. Having Facebook, Instagram, all those platforms, and of course, if you found, like you say, a free platform where they integrate and you can schedule all, on average, how would you say how often a business owner should be posting? Because of course, you don't want to be excessive like you're saying, but on average a week. I know everybody's business is different and different times matter. Some people scroll during the night, in the morning, but on average, what would you say that a person should be posting every week?
Yeah, so I'll kind of go. So I'm a 3 to 4 times a week style person. Again, if you sell something really fun, let me tell you. Again, I'm going to say this again. Y'all are going to get tired of me saying it. I sell toilets and air conditioners. That's not exciting, right? So you're normally hacked off that you've got to deal with us. But so it's not exactly a lot of fun to put that content out there. But those of you that offer types of services that people really want to hear about, you probably could get away with more content as much as you can. So I just encourage you to probably at least be posting 3 to 4 times a week. And then if I were you, I would just diversify when I posted and start measuring. Those things that are measured are where you find success, right? So if you're just posting and never looking at the success of the post, then you're never going to be able to tweak it enough to really grow your business. And so you have to kind of run some A/B tests. So this on Mondays, I'm going to post in the morning. On Tuesdays, I'm going to post in the evening. And then Facebook Meta Business will tell you this was your most high performing post. Also, get your own friends, family, and coworkers to engage with your post. If people work for you and they're not even sharing and engaging, that's probably part of the problem, right? So that is easy way for Facebook to be like, oh, somebody cares about this content, and they'll start really prioritizing it for you. And so that would be my advice. I think it mimicked what you said earlier. So does that answer your question? Good.
All right, who else?
Thank you for all of your great information. How is AI is just really taken on a hit on the rise? How is AI with all your optimization, advertising? How do you use it? Are you using it in your technology, or what do you see the future of AI in advertising small businesses?
Who wants that one?
Don't really want that one because it takes away your individual creativity to a point. I mean, yes, I use it. I use it as a building block and a tool, but I don't use it completely. So, I mean, it's growing exponentially, as we all know. But in a small community, whether it's as small as Center or, or Lufkin or NAC, or I think it cannot be as individually based and have the local flavor and the local feel as real written text from the heart. But it is a good building, especially ChatGPT, where you're using it to start writing something. It gives you words. It will, but be cautious. And it can give you designs. It can get over the top, which is what people hear. I've studied this market. I've been in this market for a long time. People here are not looking for over-the-top ads. One of the biggest things in our community, and our TV station still works, and ads work if they have your image in them. People like to see people face-to-face. So if they can look in your eyes, whether it's in print, it's online, your image makes a difference. So don't let that pass by you either in your digital formats. People like to see people. They like to know who they're dealing with in a community our size. And in this community, I've seen it work time and again. So yes, use it, but be careful with it.
Yeah, so I have several clients that are utilizing AI to respond to reviews. So when they're larger clients, and so they're getting a lot of Google reviews. So if you're not getting Google reviews, number one, find some way to have an automatic way to ask your people for Google reviews, okay? Or Facebook reviews, okay? You need to be getting reviews because Google, the more and more way, they're prioritizing reviews, whether we like it or not. So you got to figure out a way to get them. So there are some AI tools that you can integrate that will propose like, hey, you got a review, here's our proposed response. To Jackie's point, you can add a little bit of your own flair to it and then post that. Also, those of you that do have chat function on your website, AI bots a lot of times can answer the majority of your questions, especially things if it's very important, like what your hours are, or where to park. Like if there's some basic questions, you can program an AI to instantly respond to those so you don't clog up like another employee. And so a lot of my clients are utilizing AI for that piece. ChatGPT, like she mentioned, again, use it as a building block, as a guide, but if you don't go back in, right now I can immediately point out people that are using ChatGPT for their social media posts. I'm like, they ChatGPT'd that, or because they don't, those adjectives and emojis, you can get to where you can tell that it comes from AI. But again, use it and then just modify it. It's a really good starting point for those of you that aren't strong writers or you don't think you're a strong writer yet. It's a good help to get you closer.
That's so true. Let's take one more question in the back.
Well, thank you for all of this information. It's been fantastic. I have built my own website. I'm not an expert, but I think it's come out pretty well. The sticking point and hard thing for me to figure out is the SEO. So do you all work with search engine optimization to see where the weak spots are?
Oh, I'll get it. Okay, yeah. So, what do you mind telling me? What type of service do you offer, or what type of business is it?
It's a consulting business.
Okay, so SEO, like just to put it plainly for those of you that may not really understand what SEO is, Lemon Seed is not we do not make websites. We do not create them. We do not write SEO content. We are a coach. So I help connect my clients with digital companies. And so one of the best things that I ever learned about SEO is what are people actually searching for in your market? Okay, so I would sit down and say, what service do I provide that people are looking for? So if you're a counselor and you want to work with marriage counseling would be all over my website, literally the words. Because Google goes and crawls your website to see if you can answer the person's question that's searching. Google gives authority to the searcher, to the consumer, not to the business. So you can have a beautiful website that has none of the words that people are searching on it. So again, in my world, HVAC, guess how many times that gets searched? Like negative times. People search AC or heater, right? And so when you're in your own mind, because you do it every day, and you might say HVAC or return valve, things like that, but that is not what the public is searching. And so I would, in Looker Studio inside of Google, you can actually see search volume in your market based off of some of the terms that you can just start thinking of. And it will show you what is actually being searched in your market. So for example, water heaters. So guess what we say in East Texas? A hot water heater. Guess what they say in the north? A water heater, because they're not already heating hot water, right? So hot water heater is actually a very popular search term here. But it is not a popular search term in the north, because that's not a thing, right? So I would really spend some time inside of Looker Studio inside of Google and getting some search volume, what is being searched that relates to your business, and then those same search terms and words need to be included in the copy of your website.
Well, don't forget, you can also bury those words in your images. So images, I forget the term, it's gone off my head. Yeah, they call it alt text, but you put those can be in your images, and that again is something else that Google will crawl and find. Also, don't be afraid to look at your competitors' websites and their social media and see what they're doing, and see if you think, and compare that to what you're doing, and see what they're being searched for, and search your terms and see who comes up. So you'll know what, and the words are on Google are called keywords. So every keyword, the keyword counseling, the keyword marriage, the keyword divorce, but search your competition, because that's going to keep you moving up that Google as well. But you can bury those keywords throughout your website and your images, and that will bring you up further in that Google search.
And I will add one thing that we did for actually the company that I first started with Taylor Kovar. He has a brand called The Money Couple. And so they help people with their marriage and finances. And so one of our #1 search terms, which made me really sad, was, why does my husband ruin every holiday? We were finding that all over our website. Like, people were searching for that, and The Money Couple was coming up. And so we started creating content on our blog posts, creating videos, things like that. Not just husband specific. Sorry, guys, I know that was rough. I'm sure none of you ruin the holidays for your families. But just spouse in general, husband, wife. The holidays can be a really hard time on families for finances and different things. So we really started writing blogs and posting content that spoke directly to those issues that we were seeing people have, that we were searching on Google Analytics. And then one tool that I recommend, I love Neil Patel. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but neilpatel.com. He is an SEO guru. I think he might even call himself that. And they actually offer like a free SEO report on their site. You can type in your domain, type in your website name, and then it will run a full report and tell you some of the bad areas, good areas, what you could do better. And you can actually book a free call with his company as well. But I would just utilize those free tools and just make sure that you have those buzzwords and the keywords like they were saying on your website.
All right. I'd like to thank our panelists, Crystal, Katelen, and Jackie. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and expertise. Yep. And if you'd like to talk to them afterwards, will you guys be available? Okay. All right. Well, thanks for your attention, and good luck to you. And hopefully you'll get your marketing online and out there and be successful with it.